Hello again and welcome back. I hope you're enjoying your class and learning a bit more about what it takes to be a truly exemplary leader in the process. By now, I'd imagine you are connecting the dots between your personal best stories and the 5 practices, and also seeing how all of this begins to overlap at some point. I heard a colleague of mine recently say that she checked in with a new CEO who assumed his position during the COVID-19 crisis. And he said he was really doing great. He was modeling the way, he was inspiring a shared vision, he was challenging the process, he was enabling others to act, and he was encouraging the heart. And sometimes leadership is really like that. You're doing it all at once. Remember, you don't have to memorize these 5 practices. All you need to do is ask yourself, in an influencing moment, how can I strive to be an exceptional leader? You simply make it your intention to be an exemplary leader today, in this moment. And get into the habit of learning to ask yourself at the end of the day, how often was I at my best? On a scale of 1 to 10, how did I do? And after that inquiry, the hope would be that the right behavior would emerge, right? Truthfully, at the heart of obtaining wisdom in any leadership practice, you're really going to work with 2 tools, and that would be the tool of self-observation and the tool of self-inquiry. So if you get lost, all you have to do is come back to the questions and come back to the behaviors. So today we're going to look at the 3rd practice of the leadership challenge model, challenge the process. And here are the 2 commitments related to this practice. We search for opportunities by seizing the initiative and by looking outward for innovative ways to improve. We learn to experiment and take risks by constantly generating small wins and learning from experience. That's the purpose of this section, to help you improve in these 2 capacities. If I were to ask you, how many of you achieved your personal best by keeping things exactly the same without any innovation or change, and then I asked for a show of hands, my guess is none would go up, right? Because research shows that the personal best experiences are not about keeping everything the same. Leaders challenge the process. They change business as usual. And that means leadership can sometimes be a struggle, and it can be really hard work. I once recall hearing a speaker talk at a meeting in La Jolla several years ago, and he was challenging a jam-packed room of financial service professionals to consider that the question, what's in your wallet, which was very popular in advertising those days, was rather obsolete. He said we should be asking, what's on your phone? Everybody was taking notes, right? Years later, he was absolutely correct. During that time in that industry with the pandemic, more and more people had to adopt digital banking. It was no longer an option. And that created numerous technical challenges for some teams who found themselves scrambling to keep up with the demand. Doing things differently or taking a risk might involve speaking up, though, right? It doesn't mean necessarily you're going to be dealing with technical challenges or asserting yourself or having a difficult conversation. It may be about being vulnerable. It may be about asking for feedback or challenge yourself to provide feedback, which can often be very difficult. Even though it may be terribly uncomfortable for you, and I know that is true for many seasoned leaders, it's hard to do. But challenge the process really encourages you to get out of your comfort zone and take a risk. Here's a quote from Jim Kouzes and Barry Posner, the authors of the Leadership Challenge. The most effective change processes are incremental, not one giant leap. One of the biggest challenges for leaders trying to improve processes is to get people to want to move in a new direction and to break old mindsets and to change existing behavioral norms, behavioral patterns. These are all important in order to tackle big problems and attempt extraordinary performance. Exemplary leaders do this step by step, however, through the generation of small wins. And the most effective change processes are incremental, not one giant leap. You'll be looking at the power of small wins and how enormously effective they are in creating big change in your class. Again, the LPI should give you some clues as to what you need to be doing, Within that assessment are 6 ways that you can develop yourself within this practice. So let's look at these behaviors. Leaders seek challenging opportunities that test their own skills and abilities. They challenge people to try out new and innovative ways to do their work. They actively search outside the formal boundaries of their organization for innovative ways to improve what they do. They ask, what can we learn when things don't go as expected? And they identify measurable milestones that keep projects moving forward. They take the initiative in anticipating and responding to change, right? By the way, improving as a leader is a process unto itself. You're challenging your own process by simply being here, stretching yourself to learn and to grow. One way leaders continue to improve, to learn and grow is by repeatedly asking themselves, how might we improve? What small wins can we make? What can we do to be of greater service, to make a difference? Can we experiment even if we fail? Doing things differently or taking a risk might involve speaking up at a meeting, asserting yourself, engaging in a difficult conversation, giving feedback, holding others accountable, or being vulnerable, as I said. So a word of caution as you approach your challenge, right? And test your skills and your abilities, become aware of any negative voice inside your head. It might be saying, are you sure? Are you sure you can do that? Maybe you don't have the talent. What if you fail? What if you will be a failure, right? You want to get into the habit of talking back to that voice with a growth mindset. Listen to it, challenge it, and change it. You'll have plenty of time in class to talk more about challenge the process and apply what you're learning to your current leadership challenge. And you'll be participating in a think tank exercise that's designed to help you identify small wins, which hopefully will create a pattern of consistent winning that will ultimately add up to a big success. So that's it for now. See you in class. And please remember to turn in your in-between assignment if you haven't done that already. See you soon.